Okay, so let's talk about the anthropic principle. So the definition of the anthropic principle is that it's a philosophical premise that any data that we collect about the universe is filtered by the fact that in order for it to be observable at all, the universe must be compatible with the emergence of conscious and sapient life that observes it. So what exactly does that mean? It means that if there is intelligent life that's observing the universe and learning about the universe, then the universe has to be compatible with the emergence of that life. That is, the universe has to have features that allow such life to have been formed. So basically, the question is, why do we exist? Why is there all this stuff around us? Why do we exist? Why is there just nothing? Stephen Hawking, in his book The Brief History of Time, says that there are a lot of constants like the speed of light, the Planck's constant. Even if one of these constants, there are hundreds of these, and even if one of them was slightly off by a very small value, then there would be absolutely nothing. There would be no planets, there would be no solar system, there would be no galaxies. It'd just be absolutely nothing. So why? How is it that all of these values, these phenomena are happening in the exact way for human life to exist, for intelligent life to exist? Well, there are a bunch of possible explanations, right? One of them is that it's all coincidence, right? So yeah, I mean, it could be coincidence, but it would have to be a massive coincidence. So it doesn't seem like a very reasonable, like a very reasonable explanation for why all of this stuff is so perfect. The other one is that obviously it is not a coincidence, and someone has really carefully, meticulously arranged all these things to happen in this way so that it happens exactly that way. This is basically saying that there's some creator out there who's, carefully planning all of this stuff, and that's totally fine. That's a plausible explanation. But the anthropic principle offers another kind of approach to this whole conundrum, and what it says is that just imagine that there are like all possibilities are happening. So you have, say, a bunch of universes if you're talking about the multiverse, or if you're talking about the same universe, say that it happens like things happen over and over a bunch of times. So let's talk about the multiverse first. In the multiverse, there are so many parallel universes that exist at the same time. Maybe in all the other universes, these constants are slightly off, these phenomena are slightly different, and in those universes nothing is happening, absolutely nothing. It's just empty universes. Maybe we exist in that one universe where things happened correctly. In those other universes where things didn't happen perfectly, there is absolutely no one to ask the question, why are things so perfect? So we exist in this one universe where things happen to have been perfect, and that's why we are able to ask the question, why are things so perfect? So basically, it's not like someone carefully organized all these things, but it's just that the fact that you exist and you're asking the question means you are in that correct permutation. Now, if you don't want to think about multiverses, you can also think about the universe repeating itself over and over. So maybe initially the universe started off with some different values and it didn't work out, and then again it started off with another set of different values and it didn't work out again, and it just kept on happening until you came into existence, until everything was perfect for you to be formed, and then you started asking the question, why is it so perfect? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe you are just a part of one of the permutations where it happened to be perfect. That's the anthropic principle. So basically what it's saying is that just the fact that you exist and you're able to ask the question, why are things so perfect, means these things had to have been perfect for you to come into existence and then ask that question. So if it was not perfect, you would not be there to ask the question. And maybe there were so many permutations before you when it wasn't perfect and there was no one to ask the question. Okay, so another way that I think about this, I am an avid football fan and I follow the Champions League, and FC Barcelona is my team. So the way that Champions League works is there are different stages here. So there's the group stage where there are 32 teams, and then there is the round of 16 where there are obviously 16 teams, and then there is the quarterfinals where there are 8 teams, and then there's the semifinals with 4 teams, and then of course there's the final with 2 teams, and the winner comes out of the finals, right? So the way that I think about this is that in the Champions League there are a bunch of teams. There are 32 teams that start out, and then in fact it doesn't have to be the Champions League. It can be any form of international competition, or like cricket, soccer, whatever it is. There are 16 teams, but the thing is, once you're in the round of 16, or let's say once you're in the quarterfinals, all the teams here are big teams, big European names. They have stars, they have a lot of money, and it's like all of them are equals from this point onwards. So it becomes kind of hard. So if you're a team like Barcelona, you have to go through all of these hurdles. Like not even Barcelona, if you're any team in the Champions League round of 16, you have to go through a lot of hurdles. And when you're facing your equals in each of these levels, it's not easy to say that you'll always make it. So it's very unlikely that you'll make it through facing your equals 4 times. The round of 16, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, the finals. It's not very easy to just assume that you'll make it through all of these hurdles and become the winner when you're facing your equal in every one of these levels, right? So so say you're a team here, you need to go through all of these levels and then you need to win it. Now the problem is, these hurdles may seem very unlikely, but the truth is that there's always going to be a winner in the end, right? There's always going to be someone that goes through all of these hurdles. Now, the way that this relates to the same logic of the Anthropic Principle is that this winner, we know that this winner is always going to be there. Now, this winner is like your human race. It's like your intelligent life that exists currently. We know that the human race exists because we are it. So we know that there's always going to be a winner in the case of this Champions League, just like we know that human race exists today. We have won this battle. Now, the way that this relates to the Anthropic Principle is that these winners, or this human race, is going to look back at what they came through, and they're going to say, how were things so perfect? We went through the round of 16, we faced our equal, we won. Then we went to the quarterfinals, the same thing happened, the semifinals, the same thing happened, the finals, the same thing happened, and we made it through all of these and we won. How did things happen so perfectly? Just like the human race or our intelligent life looks back and says, how were things so perfect that we went, like all of these constants were so perfectly, meticulously set, and then the galaxies formed, the stars formed, the solar system formed, the earth formed, and then we formed. How were things so perfect for us? Well, the thing is, there are 31 teams here, other than the winner, who are not going to think that. All of these different permutations of the universe where things didn't work out are like these 31 teams. They're just going to be like, no, it didn't work out for us. We probably ended up in the quarterfinals or the round of 16, or just went out in the group stage. And these different permutations of the universe where it didn't work out, there's no one to wonder. There's no one to look back and wonder, how were things so perfect for us? Now that we already exist, it means we exist in that particular permutation where things were perfect. Otherwise, we wouldn't even exist. And that is the Anthropic Principle.